What is going on, everyone? Mega here, and welcome to another devlog in our devlog series. It's been a while since we've done a devlog, and we have just a couple of important updates in this devlog. And so, if you haven't already been following our devlog, the playlist for our devlog is in the description as always, and I will have a card up in the corner there for you, as well as we will have our game is now live on itch, and we have our Patreon and our coffee all set up now. The links for our Discord server and all of that will be in the description, so you can check that out if you're interested. All right, and so now let's dive into our devlog. So recently, Patreon announced a big change that was coming to Patreon. So to put it to basically explain it, the Patreon has several markets that they work with. They work with the App Store, and then they work with Android, and they also work with the like computer networks. Now what's happening is that with the App Store, well, whenever you have put something on the App Store, Apple takes a 30% cut of all sales on the App Store. And basically what was happening is that Apple is forcing Patreon to switch to completely use their payment method for their Patreon iOS app, which means that any pledge after November that comes from the Patreon iOS app will either the new pledge will have to pay a higher amount to cover the 30%, or the creator takes a cut to cover that 30%. Now, when this was announced, I felt it was unfair to put that on the new supporters. So recently, I was given the option to either force this higher amount on new supporters, or take a smaller cut. Take a smaller cut for pretty much because of the Apple. And so I felt it was unfair to put that on the supporters, so I elected to take the lower cut. And this is just something I wanted to bring up so you're aware about it, as well as I'm sure other game developers have already mentioned this themselves. So I just wanted to put that out there. And with that out of the way, we can go into our next step, our next update. So, as I mentioned, our game is now live on itch. Now, every time I upload it onto itch, I include this file, which is a flowchart. What this flowchart does is it just tells you what points you're going to get as depending on the choices you make. And I included this as a separate file outside of the game. Recently, I came to the realization that it would be more efficient is if I made this into a screen within Renphi. And that's what I'm working on. So I'm just going to do a quick demonstration of it. And I have to open, so I'll just close that. And so I'm going to launch the game so I can show it. And so right now when the new update comes out soon, in a couple of days, you'll have access to this flowchart, but it will be very experimental, as I'm going to show you. So if we go to settings, then we go to about, you see that there's an option called flowchart. This option will be available in every single menu, but for now it's only in the about menu, because that's just where I put it. And you'll see I have some formatting issues that I need to fix, but I'm just focusing on getting the flowchart working right now. So if I go to flowchart, you see that we have this menu. So we have a viewport which has a lot of scroll space to work with. And just straighten in. Okay. Come on. There we go. Yeah, that's good enough. And so we can go up and down, and most importantly, if I hover over this button, the color changes, and if I click on it, it brings me to the start. Now, right now, that if I just continued through that, it would continue throughout the entire game. I don't want that. What I wanted to do is that once it reaches the end of that scene, I wanted to go back to the flowchart. That's going to be very simple to set up, but I just want to do a quick like rundown of how I set this up. So all I did is I created a new screen. Then I just did what I always do. I created a menu. I added my background. I created my settings background, and then I created my label, and then I created my game menu. Then all I did is I created a frame. I set it to 1000 by 600. I aligned it to where I wanted it to be, and then I created a viewport, and I set the viewport to the same thing as the frame. Then I added my image that I'm using within the viewport, and the image is just a simple background image. It can really be anything. I'm just gonna put it up really quick. Oh yeah, that's right. It's within here. It's not on my desktop. Yeah, so this is just the simple image that I made. I made this in Draw, which is the flowchart software I use, and then I just set the draggable to be true, so you can drag it. I set where I wanted to start on the x-axis and where I wanted to start on the y-axis. I enabled the mouse wheel, and I enabled the scroll wheels. And then for the image buttons, I just created an anchor within the middle. And then for this one was a little tricky, because I had to fine tune it to be to be perfectly in the middle, and in order to do that, it required a lot of fine tuning, and it ended up being that I wasn't able to get it to the middle until it was 16,375 on the x-axis. But after that, it was completely in the middle, and then I just used my idle images and my idle image and my hover image, which is just like this. I also got this from Draw. So that's my idle, and this is my hover, which I just created in Paint. I just used the same image, and I just created a green blur around it. And then for the action, I just created a jump. And now this is where it's gonna get a little tricky. I'm trying to figure out a way to set it so that it sets a persistent variable and then jumps, because once I set it to a persistent variable, all I'm gonna have to do is create an if statement at the end of the start screen, the start label, and it's gonna be like something like, if this variable is true, jump to well, won't be jump, it will just be returned. And that's pretty much how you would set it up for every single label. All right. Well, not every single label. Every single label that's in your flowchart. And yeah, that's pretty much what I got. So yeah, this has been Mega, and I will see you again next time.